Before you embark on a trip to a new country or region, it is essential to understand the entry requirements. Different countries have different rules and regulations for entry, which can include visa requirements, travel restrictions, and health checks. Failure to comply with these entry requirements could result in being denied entry or facing legal consequences. In this video, I will discuss the importance of checking the entry requirements before traveling to a new country or region. The first step in checking entry requirements is to research the visa requirements for the country or region you plan to visit. Some countries require a visa for entry, while others do not. It is important to note that visa requirements can change, so it is recommended to check the most up-to-date information on the government's official website. Applying for a visa can take time, so it is recommended to start the process well in advance of your trip. The following countries offer favorable visa policies, which means that Americans can easily apply and get their visas approved without too much hassle. Here are some of the countries with the easiest visas for Americans looking to move abroad. Mexico. Mexico is a popular destination for Americans who want to move abroad. Americans can easily obtain a temporary or permanent residency visa, which allows them to live and work in Mexico. The process is relatively straightforward and can be completed within a few weeks. Costa Rica. Costa Rica is known for its beautiful beaches, friendly people, and low cost of living. Americans can easily obtain a temporary or permanent residency visa, which allows them to live and work in Costa Rica. The process is straightforward and can be completed within a few months. Panama. Panama is a popular destination for retirees, expats, and digital nomads. Americans can easily obtain a temporary or permanent residency visa, which allows them to live and work in Panama. The process is relatively straightforward and can be completed within a few months. Portugal. Portugal is a beautiful country with a rich history and culture. Americans can easily obtain a visa under Portugal's Golden Visa program, which allows them to live and work in Portugal. The process is relatively straightforward, and applicants are required to invest in the country's economy. Colombia. Colombia is a vibrant country with friendly people, delicious food, and a rich culture. Americans can easily obtain a temporary or permanent residency visa, which allows them to live and work in Colombia. The process is straightforward and can be completed within a few months. These are some of the countries with the easiest visas for Americans looking to move abroad. However, it's important to note that visa policies and procedures can change over time, so it's always advisable to check with the relevant authorities before making any decisions. Another important factor to consider is travel restrictions. Some countries have restrictions on who can enter based on factors such as nationality, recent travel history, and COVID-19 vaccination status. It is essential to check the entry requirements carefully to avoid being turned away at the border. In some cases, travelers may need to obtain special permission or documentation to enter a country. Health checks are also an essential part of entry requirements, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many countries require proof of a negative COVID-19 test result or vaccination to enter. It is essential to check the specific requirements for your destination and ensure that you have the necessary documentation before you travel. Some countries may also require a quarantine period upon arrival, so it is important to be prepared for this possibility. It is important to note that entry requirements can vary depending on the purpose of your trip. For example, if you are traveling for work or study purposes, you may need to obtain a different type of visa than if you were traveling for leisure. It is recommended to check with the relevant government agency or embassy to ensure that you have the correct documentation for your specific travel purpose. In conclusion, checking the entry requirements for a new country or region is an essential step in travel planning. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in being denied entry or facing legal consequences. By researching visa requirements, travel restrictions, and health checks, travelers can ensure that they have the necessary documentation and comply with the regulations for entry. It is recommended to check the most up-to-date information on the government's official website and to start the process well in advance of your trip to avoid any potential issues at the border.